In today's video, we're gonna look at Jake O'Brien. Some of you were pretty impatient with this one, and I'm gonna have to take a victory lap. So what you see at the screen right now is what I said about him last year. So in May 2024, I posted a video on Marek Van Acker, and I did spoke and wrote about Jake O'Brien. So this is what I had to say about him last year. 1 year later, and virtually everything that was written has come true. So O'Brien began the year ranked between 15 and 20 on pretty much every list, and little by little he has climbed his way up the ranks, and nowadays he's pretty much a legitimate prospect for the top 10 or even the top 5 on a lot of lists. He finished the year with 2 points shy of the century mark in 66 games, and it goes without saying that if Marek Van Acker had started the year healthy, the 100-point mark would have been easily shattered. And it's important to say that even if Jake O'Brien assisted on a lot of Nick Lardy's goals, the two of them did not play together at even strength throughout the year. For the most part of the year, O'Brien saw his wing flanked by players like Luca Testa, Zachary Lavoie, Calvin Crombie, and Joshua Avery. If you take just a quick glimpse at those guys, they were averaging like half a point per game, so not necessarily the best line mates for O'Brien at 5-on-5. The main reason that gave me such confidence in my take was that O'Brien was one of the best playmakers that I have ever seen. At only 16 of age, I saw him make a number of passes that made me stop and wonder how many players in the NHL could have made that pass, and in many cases, the answer was, in all honesty, fewer than 5. And to this day, his playmaking remains the central asset of his game. O'Brien exhibits virtually all the key elements of elite playmakers. In his head, he's always a play or two ahead of his opponents. Even before receiving the puck, he already knows where his teammates are positioned and what he's going to do. He's very smart and mature for a player his age, seeing him taking information even before recovering a loose puck in order to make the most informed decision.
Here's Brown across, out in front, back door, they score! Patrick Thomas.
Game, just a great play by Brown to get it over, and then the tap pass from O'Brien, finished off by Thomas.
Oh, is Van Acker. Van Acker swings into the right corner. O'Brien up front. Rossetto scores!
Across. Larda shoots, and he scores!
This season, it's that one-timer from the near side.
Comes loose, back to the blue line it goes. Mara across ice pass, in front, they score! Thomas parked all alone at the side of the net. Nothing Lalonde could do there, and Brantford takes it to...
This one right here was my favorite, just a fantastic one-touch pass. He also possessed tons of poise, allowing him to subtly extend his puck touches to allow a teammate to free himself, or to reevaluate his option and avoid forcing a pass unnecessarily.
Again, came away from the puck. O'Brien spins low on the left, looking for an option. It's Protz. Backside wanted
O'Donnell, the natural center, playing on the wing tonight. His first OHL game.
O'Brien out high in the offensive zone. Drags it through. Backdoor for Brown. That one just sent wide.
He's also a highly deceptive player in his intentions. This is something that I've talked about often in recent years, but in O'Brien's case, he takes it to another level. Watch him sell the passing intent to the player at the top of the circle. He's sliding towards him while maintaining eye contact, and out of nowhere, he delivers a very skillful slip pass to the player at the goal mouth. To sell false information to opponents, players will not only deceive their opponents with their eyes, but also with their bodies. Often, it will be the direction in which the shoulders and or the hips are pointing that will make the defenders bite, but O'Brien's demonstrate excellent hand dexterity, as he even managed to incorporate his wrist into his deception. Just take a look here at where his wrists are pointing. Everything suggests that he's going to pass to Lardis for a one-timer from the circles, but at the very last second, he changes his angle and connects with a teammate at the goal mouth for a beautiful goal.
Thomas from below the goal line feeds O'Brien. Didn't see what he wanted there. Backside. What a pass! Jake O'Brien manipulating time and space as he goes backdoor to Patrick Thomas. How did he even see the captain that wide open? It's 2-2. I mean, normally we really shouldn't be surprised anymore, but whenever he does it, it is just mind-bending what Jake O'Brien can do with a puck on his stick.
Yeah, great vision from playmaker to playmaker, and this time Thomas turns goal scorer. It's just some good work here by the Bulldogs to keep the offensive zone set alive from the win of the draw. They kept the puck in the steelhead zone the entire time, and Thomas just on the backside of that play. Cole Brown making a general nuisance of.
It is with the softness of his hands that O'Brien excels at making slip passes. So soft passes where he silkily slides the puck against the flow and sometimes under the defensive coverage.
Jake O'Brien's going to force the puck loose from Kostov. Cutting over the line. O'Brien dances wide. Backside for O'Donnell. Plays low. O'Brien attacking. Ready to play it up. Taken away by Yudacek. 3-on-2 if they hurry. O'Brien off the feed from Crombie to Van Acker. Save made by...
Turnover there by Juracek to create this 3-on-2 and Van Acker to... Oh no.
O'Brien for O'Donnell. Back to O'Brien. Save made by Nelson. Backside Crombie. It just rolled. Stepping through a stick. Over the line O'Brien for Lardis. Scores!
But the most remarkable thing about O'Brien's passing skills is the ease with which he connects with teammates in situations where passing lanes simply doesn't seem feasible. No matter how many sticks are in his way, he only needs the slightest openings to thread the needle. For example, looking at this situation here, O'Brien seems to have no options at first glance. Well, without even moving, he lures the defender towards him, and as soon as an opening presents itself, he passes the puck between the defender's legs and connects with his teammates in front of the net for a goal. The impossible becomes possible when number 44 is on the ice.
Skipped on his forehand. He'll toss it low. O'Brien across the formation.
Did power play time now for the Bulldogs. One-timer by
Hamra. O'Brien collects left circle. Across. Lardis. Back to the front.
Amara, this Bulldog power play has been all over the place.
O'Brien's astute puck management skills are also evident in the other two zones. Puck possession is so important for teams nowadays, and when O'Brien gets hold of the puck, you can rest assured that it won't stupidly fall into the enemy's hands. He doesn't force any plays, and he's constantly readjusting his positioning to see if passing lanes will open up.
Drops it back for O'Brien. He'll hit the brakes. Flipping back.
There's truly no panic in his game as he's always able to create an exit for himself.
For Cowan, at a lane, he took the backhander. Lingers got a piece of it. Bradford trying to clear the zone.
Moore takes a whack at it. O'Brien, oh, what a twist.
I also really like how every option on the ice is utilized. The short option, the lateral option, or even the option behind him. And for last, he's also not afraid to retrace in his steps either.
All tied at 4. As the Bulldogs take their time, O'Brien goes for a skate back to his own blue line, now heads down to the north end of the Memorial Center, feeds it into Van Acker.
Stealing the puck in the corner, it'll be taken on through neutral ice. Jake O'Brien waiting for a little bit of help off the bench as he'll manipulate a bit of time and space. Oh, what a pass on to Merrick Van Acker.
Seneca will bring it ahead, cross the line, trying to drag it through and unable to get around.
Placido challenging Shamar Moses. Lucas Moore back on the ice for the Bulldogs. Might be Placido's first.
Keep it in there, but he was tied up, and here comes O'Brien the other way for Brantford on the penalty kill, and finally they are back at full strength. Amara lets it.
His IQ is also evident in his extensive bag of transition passes. Short delays before reaching a teammate in full stride, redirection, slip passes, sneaky lateral passes, or even aerial passes. Anything is possible with the Bulldogs forward.
Wall. Protz wanted to touch that along for Lavoie. Miedema got in the way. Lavoie stuck with it. Now the lob play. Testa on the left.
Watching it come to him, he gets some help from the defender. Now O'Brien on it. Back for Protz with room.
Hammer steps to it. Shoveled it out front to Jake O'Brien. O'Brien with Lardis carrying on the left side, trying to work around Lads. Lardis with a step to the front. Backhand. Pins it back to Lardis with speed. On to O'Brien. Back to Lardis, top of the slot. Bowen made the stop. It came right through him. Shot. Thomas on to O'Brien. Long play ahead to Brown, who was behind everybody. Brown left side. Drop for Lardis.
While O'Brien's playmaking skills give him desirable offensive upside, some questions arose given his low goal statty from last year. He is definitely known as a pass-first player, where the option to fire a shot on net always comes last. Right off the bat, the Toronto natives has practically tripled his goal totals from last year, so he went from 13 last season to 32 this year. He'll likely never have the shot to overpower goaltenders, but he compensates by employing various strategies such as trying to beat them sneakily on the short side or shooting against the grain.
Getting the puck out, chips it up over the blue line for Jake O'Brien. O'Brien coming in, snapshot.
Rushes. Here's O'Brien, 2-on-1 with Van Acker. O'Brien, oh, what a...
The quality of his shot has also improved significantly in the second half of the year. I myself was quite surprised by the velocity behind some of his shots.
O'Brien for the middle of the line, plays low to Brown. Back to Hammer, walking on. Top of the slot is O'Brien. Scores! Jake O'Brien! With Merrick Van Acker, left side, working at Greer. Back to O'Brien, left circle. He hit the goal post. Budnick on to Rossetto. From the middle of the ice. Budnick back on to O'Brien. His drive hit the underside of the front.
One of the positives about his projection at the next level in this regard is that he knows where to score his goals. Despite having a size far from his maturity, O'Brien regularly shows up in the goalie's paint.
Lardis with a pass into the slot, another pass. Great stop by McIver under pressure. The puck remains loose.
Budnick down to the ice. Budnick not happy about it. He goes after McCallum a little bit. Keeps a close.
This is the far side by a few feet. Or from the point, that one got deflected. Made it.
Steps ahead. Lavoie kept it alive. Lavoie, top of the slot, saved Lalonde, rebound. Wouldn't. Has options. Out front is Lardis. Tip. Rebound. O'Brien just couldn't deal it inside the...
The center also has very good hands. He's not necessarily the type of player to seek out one-on-one confrontations with opposing defensemen, but he's excellent at pulling a rabbit out of his hat when unexpected elements appears in his path. For example, a defenseman's stick trying to push him to the outside.
Moore at the near point. O'Brien trying to drag the puck to the net. Stays on it. Goes in behind the fake the shot.
This guy's a wonderful player too. You got to really take his time and space away.
Wang in retreat. Van Acker gets onside. Here's O'Brien. Pulls it to the middle and through his legs. Got a...
Batted down by Lardis. O'Brien, left circle. Steps inside. Tried upstairs.
Goal, but it doesn't get through, and the Bulldogs go right to work here. No shots on goal at either end just yet.
He also demonstrates tremendous hand-eye coordination as he excels at intercepting the puck in the air when he's in the offensive zone.
Behind them, rims it around the boards. Sealed off by O'Brien. Dickinson can't clear it, gives the puck away.
I know I talked about Parker Holmes being from South Mountain. I'll get back to that in a second. Ben Riley's from Iroquois, which is not that far from South Mountain.
Testa, mini 2-on-1 with Lavoie. Testa out front.
Not only does the Bulldogs forward have one of the best offensive upside in the 2025 draft, but as a center, his 200-foot game is already extremely well polished. It's thanks to his well above average hockey sense that O'Brien has earned the praise of his coach and has been entrusted with important missions. His understanding of the puck's location and movement is unparalleled. This allows him to be the first on the puck for a significant number of plays, despite his generally average skating.
Playing it back along the boards, O'Brien over to the puck. Jake O'Brien into neutral ice. For Luca O'Donnell had a little too much sauce on it. O'Brien steps right through the thicket again to win the puck. Got clatters off the end wall. Noah Roberts there to find it. Lifting the stick, Hookie, all the way back to Petrovsky. Testa has that blocked up off back glass. Waddick in the wide. Torrance spins, working away from O'Brien. Lofts it low. Franson hits the brakes in behind the net. O'Brien staples him, but Torrance is next. Around for Morelli. Tough plays. He had to make it off the kick plate. And now O'Brien will be the next layer to send it down the rink. Shovel it around. Malik McGowan, who stepped into him. Ewens plays it around the back for Gandon. Testa into him. Bulldogs with more of a physical edge than they came out with last night. McGowan crosses it to the right wing side. Gandon interrupted by Jake.
He also assumes his responsibilities as a center and he's the first on his line to backcheck defensively.
Settles it. Puck will be knocked down by Parker Vaughn on to Weigel. He'll approach DiPlacido. His first playoff shift. Moses across.
He doesn't hesitate to sacrifice his body by blocking a few shots, including one where he really impressed me with his way of matching the shooter's movement and followed him brilliantly. Finally, he provides excellent support for his defensemen as he is often seen working deep in his own zone. This is something that I value a lot in a center, the puck support offered to teammates. O'Brien often comes in as a lifeline at the right time thanks to his keen hockey sense.
Chops it into neutral ice. After it is Testa. Next is O'Brien. Battles through the Arnott check. Testa out.
Now, let's focus on what could be limiting factors in his game. O'Brien isn't the fastest skater and some work will need to be done to correct some technical flaws. The main area that needs to be addressed is the depth or the length of his stride. Currently, he is not maximizing his stride length as his extension during his pushes are not complete. However, his crossovers mechanics are excellent and we can see that his feet are moving at a high frequency. Generally speaking, when an athlete is able to keep the ground contact time of each stride to a minimum, my concerns are less significant. This is also why I wasn't worried about Gabriel Vilardi's skating at the time, and especially in the case of a player like O'Brien, who still has a lot of room to grow in terms of his physical development. The power output behind each skating stride can improve, but usually, already at this age, footwork doesn't have much room for improvement. And since I already had about 25 viewings of him around February, I decided not to watch him again until the playoffs. The difference in speed compared to the beginning of the year was noticeable, and I find him much more dynamic now, and you can see him overflowing with enthusiasm to apply pressure on opposing defensemen, wanting to test his new limits.
Down to business tonight. Not a lot of the side stuff that we saw.
The other question mark that remains about O'Brien is his slight physique and the fact that he still loses too many of his battles along the boards.
Prats. O'Brien on the far side, bumped once, knocked out.
However, there are three things that makes me believe that I shouldn't be so fearful about this aspect. First is the fact that O'Brien grew an inch and a half and gained nearly 20 pounds between last year and this year. He is one of the youngest in this draft, being born June 16, and he still has a ton of room for physical growth. And second is the fact that O'Brien understands how to win these battles. So he leverages his body well, getting underneath his opponents, and he also initiates the contact first.
Shot blocked on the way through. O'Brien met at the right half wall. Not sure if that got through to Igorov or not. Jake O'Brien trying to twist his way loose.
And again, Bradford looking to take the lead late in this hockey game. And it sailed off his shin pad.
Get a Van Gorp, he's having difficulty as the Bulldogs coming back here. O'Brien.
And finally, I would say that O'Brien won't even need to win his battles. He's so intelligent that those confrontations don't even have time to develop and take place. As soon as he goes to retrieve a puck along the boards, he has already spotted a passing option and he gets it back to him with beautiful tap passes behind his back or between his legs. This goes back to what I was saying earlier about his passing skills, is that he's always one step ahead of his rivals.
Tomas Hamara up ahead for Jake O'Brien. It exploded off his backhand. Cole Lavoie ahead, cross corner off the blocker of Lalonde. Testa out front for Lavoie, just chipped wide. Lavoie back onto O'Brien, out to Testa. Testa walks on.
Off the end boards, you got to watch those end boards.
Active kick plate.
A little time for Van Acker to arrive. Swept away by Carlisle. O'Brien spins out of the corner. Avery's
Pad save made by Oster. O'Brien. Stick handles away from Rodriguez.
First period so far this year, 13-9. I know it's early.
but it is something that they have to correct if they want success.
And have only scored their first goal 4 times in 15 games.
O'Brien on to Testa to the front. Save made by...
To conclude, I would like to say that O'Brien has added a certain competitive edge to his game this season. Although his physique doesn't allow him to punish his opponents, he doesn't cut corners and he applies the same game plan as all the other players on his team and finishes his checks.
And didn't get anywhere. It's out.
Dealing with Brown and O'Brien. Brown, though, gets shoved down by Callum Ridge below the icing line to Torrance. Up for Seneca. Gets away from the...
Gotta love that compete level from Crombie. Big block at the one end. On the ice.
He demonstrates feistiness and he doesn't hesitate to respond when someone tries to provoke him. He responds with slashes, he bothers the goalkeeper, he takes part in skirmishes. And just a quick shout out to my boy Marek Van Acker. Just look at this absolute madman trying to rip his opponent's head off.
NHL draft. We've got a power play or a penalty coming up, pushing and shoving. O'Brien, he's involved with it, is right in front of the Oshawa bench. And he's all locked up with, I believe, Colby Barlow. And now Lavoie has got his man wrapped up and bodies are tumbling. And look out, skates are in the midst.
Here's a walk out from the side by LeBlanc, and he could just shovel it through Leenders.
That was a great play. That's what I mean about
Budnick. Possession hits his man. O'Brien brings it in. Holds up, dishes. There's a shot from a rather sharp angle, and it dribbled in behind McIver, and he alertly reached back with the blocker to cover it up.
this is what
Smooth skating defense when you saw it just a moment ago at a Renfrew, Ontario.
to the front of the net. Leenders. Oh my! That one hopped its way through. Leenders had to make a stop. The puck got through.
Popped into the air. Leenders popped back on top of it. Stonehouse took a jab at his glove, and Leenders told him all about it. Now Korbler has gone in his drive, held on to by Jaden Nelson as Hughes and O'Brien are going round and round. 3:20
Renews acquaintance very quickly with Zach Lavoie. But
in. Toms poked at by Hamara. Puck to the line, moving wide. Lavoie tosses to the front, and that'll be held on to by Jacob Oster. And then Ritchie and O'Brien jousting. And that's going to draw a crowd as Lavoie and D'Amato taken away. Lavoie right circle, back on for O'Brien. Pop up. Jacob Oster makes the grab. And then Lowry Sinabori came right over.
So this is it for Jake O'Brien. I hope you enjoyed. The next video is going to be on Roger McQueen.
Gives up a promising young player. Big hit by Fibiger there in open ice, but it creates a 2-on-1. O'Brien scores. Second of the game for Jake O'Brien. And it's goals galore for the Bulldogs.
Him on the power play that scored. Now another great shot here to start this third period. And within the first minute, Brantford's come out.
Plays it down low. O'Brien scores!
Remains hot for the Brantford Bulldogs again. Not great on the season, but they've looked good here recently. And that's Jake O'Brien with maybe Reed Key creating a screen.
Cuts into the left circle, low for O'Brien, dealt it out front to Cernak. Lardis, low to O'Brien. O'Brien holds up behind the net, feeds Lardis, high left, his drive. Puck sent for O'Brien, over the line, right side. Spins it left, Thomas. Ekberg appeared in 19 games for Almtuna, the Allsvenskan last year. As Van Acker.
O'Brien, Hamara scores!
Possession, good puck movement, waiting for their quality chances, not forcing anything, not rushing anything. And as we said earlier in
Hamara, the Ottawa pick. Down for O'Brien, the prospect. He'll slide it in, down low and off, and D'Amato.
The blue paint, again, it all starts with a face-off win on the power play in the offensive zone, allows a setup, and looking backdoor for Patrick Thomas was
Split second. And I think some hearts jumped again.
O'Brien at the line, feeds Thomas left. Save made by. Kept himself going. He got ripped down to the ice. The Bulldogs.
Yep, Franson.
Yeah, they're going to go back to the power play with O'Brien handling. O'Brien for Lardis. Lardis shot. Cuts it, and it's Jake O'Brien, 1 against 2. O'Brien against Morelli, looking for help. It arrives late through his feet. Hammer, slick little play back to O'Brien. Lardis, one-timer for Brown. Now O'Brien to Lardis, he scores! Jake O'Brien with another sizzler of a feed, and upstairs goes Nick Lardis.
It's a set alive, and eventually he's going to be the player that gets the puck back.
O'Brien steps down on the right side. Tried to send it out front, stuck with him. O'Brien across.
And he gunned it wide. Now played in across the line again. Brantford on the move this time. Has a chance in front of the mark. Courtesy of Roberts. Now tipped in front of it. They score.
9 of the next 4:03. As Jake O'Brien kicks the puck down. Could be 3-on-2. Thomas left. Testa. Nice little kick. O'Brien off the Testa play to keep it alive. Walks low. Testa out front. Lavoie. Artis spins that back for Thomas. O'Brien across the formation. High slot on the power play, and the puck just bounced on him. Arnott, turnover in front, Lavoie on the tee, saved by Joel. On a bit when you end up taking 1. O'Brien, right side. Nobody wants to be the 1. Testa.
Lardis coming back with O'Brien. It's a 2-on-1. Lardis will slide one across. Great save by Flores. They score on the rebound. The follow-up was by a sliding Cole Brown.
Playing left. O'Brien in the circle, tries the shot. Save made. Franson has that block down. It's O'Brien from the slot. He hit the goalpost.
Ski plays it. Puck is loose. Out front and shot.
That puck exploded on Martone. Roberts gives it a ride around. Jake O'Brien's away shorthanded. O'Brien on his forehand. Ivan Kovic with the stop. Heaving his way to the slot for a drive. Blocked off by Ben Radley. He might have taken that where you don't want a hockey puck. Testa left side drops back for O'Brien at the slot. And that will add to his game as Testa delivers to O'Brien and a
near side. Across the line, holds up, looking for a way to get that puck down low.
6 forwards that you have to really rely on, too, to get you some points.
Van Acker to O'Brien, back to Van Acker. What a pass, backdoor. Oh, what a the post on the outside. O'Brien
with a shot. That one. Bronson Rye confidently with those long loping strides. One-timer. O'Brien into the slot. There's no shot there. Moore set
to O'Brien, who curls in the left circle. O'Brien out high. Down low for Van Acker. Just Brown 2-on-1 with O'Brien the other way. Brown for O'Brien. Tried to spin it back. The bouncing puck wouldn't sit. Gets it on to Lourdes. The flip shot wouldn't get inside the 4x6. O'Brien
has 2 chances in this game so far, right there.
Hammer along the line to Thomas. Thomas right side. Backdoor O'Brien. Scores! Thomas onto O'Brien. Back out high. Lourdes drive.
On a real smart play there, too. He knows the penalty killing forward is hanging around.
O'Brien backside. Brown. Great save again.
Player stick. They grabbed Faulkner's in case he came by to get his left-handed stick back, and they grabbed Carson Cameron's in case he wanted to make. And now we have Carson Cameron playing with a left-handed stick right now. One time.
35 seconds. As Jake O'Brien out through neutral ice. He got Daniel Chen ahead with him. O'Brien deals it. Save.
It's coming around on the backside of that dump in.
Leaners with a brilliant pass forward. O'Brien on to Lourdes. Scores! Ryerson into his skates. O'Brien pulls it away from Hayes. Tries it again to the front. And will step down from the right point. Van Acker played it into his shin pads. Bouncing puck to the line. It'll come out. Could be 2-on-1. O'Brien's got Avery going middle. Drop his Van Acker. Back to O'Brien. Out front again.
Budnick. Now look out. In behind everybody and getting in.
Disagreed with me.
Puck it. Doherty without his stick, and now it's in behind Owen Flores. Now he'll have to hustle to get back into play. Potential 2-on-1 brewing here. Here's O'Brien for Brantford. Chipped it across and
to win that puck back for the Bulldogs. Here's O'Brien. Backdoor to Lars. Skate of Testa. O'Brien finds the loose puck and gets around Moses. Throwing it rink wide.
Gets pushed into the wall. Storm can't clear. O'Brien with a nifty feed back to the point. Fired behind him on that drop feed. Couldn't find anyone, and now a 2-on-0 break if they hurry here for the Bulldogs. Right in front, Biggs. Dreaming. He'll have broken the record by then, I think. So. Here come the Bulldogs. Breakaway chance here. Scores. Beautiful finish for a 1-0 lead.
Testa with a pick on Ritchie. Looks out front. They score. And Ritchie is incensed. As he goes to the referee, he was puck. Looks out front for O'Brien. Shovels. Here's O'Brien. Offensive zone change for the Bulldogs. O'Brien skates it around. Powell swipes at him. O'Brien still with it. O'Brien to the net. And Acker starts back the other way. Pass too far for O'Brien. Steals a puck though. Here's Jake O'Brien to the slot. Stopped by 13.5 feet on the blue line for the Generals as it's centered out front. Rolling up O'Brien.
Bryan with a chance to take the lead. He comes in with speed. Backhand goes high. Rye gets a piece and he's there to O'Brien. Backhand. Forehand between her. He switches and drops it to O'Brien going wide. O'Brien shoots game and we gotta find that, show that one if we get a chance. Here's a chance right now. 3,000. Here's a chance out in front. Lourdes goal. Save Rye. Rebound controlled by the Petes. They cannot get it out, however. It's kept in. O'Brien, what a pass. It comes across and it's played there by Testa. Out in.
Met by Crombie and Van Acker. Puck drops for O'Brien. That broke into 3 pieces. Crombie 2-on-0. O'Brien for Crombie. Back to O'Brien. What a stop by Jake.
O'Brien walks in, shoots, and it rolls over the glove of Oster. Brown was.
O'Brien.
O'Brien.
He'll come with a bit more speed. The righty working out left through the circle, attacking on his backhand. Oh, what a goal! Jake O'Brien attacks with speed and goes bar down.